What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 3.5%, 459 the high, 441 the low. So today was quite the crazy day. Luckily enough, you're starting to see a nice recovery, not just with NIO, but across the board. So at least NIO's kind of participating in that. But the fact that it did go down 6.4%, largely based on nothing that would normally influence it, is rather crazy. So as far as today, though, on a side note, 38.09 million shares being traded. So you are seeing a little bit more volume coming from hedge funds today, primarily being done on the dark pool. So I'll kind of go over that later in the video. But as far as today, the main reason why the market is kind of freaking out is because of South Korea. And even though a lot of headlines are saying it's kind of their sell-off is due to the Iran war and oil surging, I definitely disagree, because for those of you that follow the South Korean market, it's been going up considerably and it's been doing very, very well. In that time period, oil has surged numerous times, but yet it doesn't cause this level of kind of volatility. So in reality, it is just simply foreign investment kind of pulling their money, rotating out. And interestingly enough, a lot of companies based in the States as well as Europe are kind of the investors, foreign investors that kind of push and prop up the South Korean market. So in reality, Americans are selling out and most likely going to be investing it within their own market. So it doesn't logically make sense for the broader indexes to be down as much as they are. And I think this is where kind of level smarter heads are starting to prevail and starting to really push things higher. So at the low, NASDAQ was down almost about like 2.7%, S&P down like 2.3%. So absolutely amazing day for those of you that have cash on the sidelines. But overall, it's been a brutal last couple months, because I think the whole mentality about buying the dip has really got people broke. Because yeah, NIO and just the broader market has just dipped. So kind of crazy stuff. But there was one thing that did come out of interest, and that was this right here. So William did a little bit of a chat yesterday, looks like a live stream, talked about launches. And so ultimately ES9, I think that's going to be the very big deal in Q2. That is going to be, looks like scheduled launch event is going to be April the 9th. So again, something to kind of add to your schedules or calendars or whatnot. Firefly shows that it's going to be expanding into the Thai market on March the 5th, which is rather odd because I feel like that has already been news. So I don't know if maybe their expansion was somewhat paused or halted for various reasons, because I would have swore that was kind of announced initially in December, kind of came out again in, I believe, end of January. So but nonetheless, it's now March the 5th. So again, something to keep in mind. And in 2026, you have a lot of new launches. So generally the market likes that, right? So I think overall big things are going to be coming for NIO. Aside from that, no different than the last week and a half, shorts have been extremely active. Even at the time of doing this video, they're increasing 706,000 shares, 7.7% of the free float is being shorted. Works to be 157.2 million shares overall being shorted. At the peak, shorts are increasing about 3.2 million shares. And so you can kind of see as well from this blue line yesterday, this puts it in perspective of their plan. So they always like to double down, cause the stock price to go down, suppress it, and then they just return a significant amount either at the end of the day or during the after hours. So this is something that they do every single time. So I've seen a lot of comments saying, well, how are shorts doubling down? What are shorts doing? This is their strategy. They hit NIO hard, fast, quick, bring the stock price down, get algorithmic trading to really sell off, get a lot of institutions to sell, and then they just step back. So hopefully institutions do start to really buy NIO and invest for the long term, because that is, I think, going to be a very big natural deterrent for shorts. Looking at the options, we're seeing a lot of volume today at least, so that's kind of a good thing. So 3.4 million in calls, 1.2 in puts, and 52% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above 5. So that's kind of a good thing. And it looks like above 5 to 550 going into next week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub $4 for the most part. So definitely a lot of volatility is anticipated. Only one transaction occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. It is a sell, was done first thing for $118,000. Darkpool, very active, and we see a lot of hold numbers. And if we kind of look at the timestamps of a lot of them, they are kind of the main reason why NIO is starting to really push higher. So very interesting stuff. As what I mentioned yesterday, the market did have a little bit of a sell-off, and then it did recover. NIO didn't really participate in that, as you can kind of see. Big difference between yesterday and today is hedge funds are buying NIO. So again, that's kind of a good thing. Whether they're buying just to lend out or for other purposes is yet to be seen, but definitely good stuff is happening. Aside from that, with it at 454, it is currently trading between these 2 points, so this pivot in this S1. So as long as they can hold that 449 today, then I think that we could be seeing a little bit of a recovery, but it really does need to hold. And when it was kind of going down initially, it didn't really phase it all that much, so I wouldn't really consider this 449 extremely strong support, but 425 is going to be the following support level. That's again kind of worst case scenario. That would be kind of crazy if it does hit that though, given just the operational updates that NIO has been kind of putting out lately. But today, just watch for 449. Flip side, 488 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And as far as in the short term, I don't really see any main reason to kind of get there just yet, unless we get a lot more geopolitical kind of just calming. There's way too many things going on in the broader market, and yeah, a lot of institutions are kind of pivoting to risk off in some cases. So just watch for 488, and then today just for 449. Aside from all of that fun stuff on the actual chart itself, as I've been kind of mentioning, the technicals look absolutely horrific. One thing that it really needed to hold was that 50-day moving average, and we landed there on Friday, but because of just how the market's been the last couple of days, it did break below that. So at least in the short term, if you're going to see any sort of recovery, it needs to really get back and fight above that 50-day moving average, and that's sitting at 486. I've mentioned this at the highs, I've mentioned this at the lows. Best thing that you can do is dollar cost average, because NIO sometimes just has no logic based on its price action. I see a lot of people really somewhat debating whether, because I know I frequently say that Wall Street hates NIO, and my mentality about that is just the fact that institutions don't buy NIO. And because right now, like, if there's a good value play out there, institutions load the boat, and stocks very rarely stay in the value status for extended periods of time. Institutions catch on, they buy it up, and whatever else. NIO, like, it does have, I think it's like 1.01 for a PS right now. That is crazy, insanely at a discount. But that's kind of what I talk about when I'm saying that Wall Street hates NIO, only because it continuously overlooks the value that it does have. I know a lot of people seem to think various reasons. I'm not really sure. Maybe it could be geopolitical as well. I know that's always been one attributing factor, but let me know your viewpoint on NIO and why Wall Street might actually hate it alongside a couple other Chinese stocks. I don't think you can kind of categorize all Chinese stocks under the same umbrella, because there's plenty of them that get a lot of good institutional traction and are sitting at all-time highs. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. One final thing, if you're looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I put a daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.